On today's episode, the art community salutes two women that have been a big part of their story of growth, from the October Rain exhibition to an exclusive preview of this royal bearing collection. Plus, we have what most creatives are talking about online, discussing trending issues happening in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm Melinda Akinwami.
Our spoken word today is by Chilove Alinta, and it's titled Visual Storytelling. In the oceans of life, we drown not, we sleep as dead, we die as death, but yet we walk as we sleep, we breathe as we die. In the oceans of life, our eyes are closed to the unseen, our ears are deafened to the unheard, but yet we see what's not, we hear what's heard. In the oceans of life, like fishes, we are swimming our last breath. Only the brave ones among us breathe in and out to the land of destination.
Every year, the Society of Nigerian Artists organize an annual juried exhibition called October Rain. This time around, most of the works created reflected Nigeria's Diamond Jubilee, the COVID-19 pandemic, and an icon in the art.
The venue is still the National Museum in Lagos, just like the previous years. But most works of art created this time around focus on the new order because it was done in the heat of the pandemic. Even the title of the show reflects the drive for the artists to persevere despite the obstacles of being cooped up at the time when there was a nationwide lockdown.
Resilience has to do with the resiliency of our artists over the years. It's not easy to survive as an artist within the Nigerian environment. Most of the time you don't have the light. You are faced with bad road. Anytime you have to, the issue of distance, issue of hold up here and there, so many odds, against the artists. But despite all, the artists have been resilient, over these years to be coming out each time with something great, something fantastic, something the world, can actually look out for. So that is one of the reasons why we have chosen that theme.
Not the best times. COVID is there. The pandemic has shut doors. The pandemic has, shattered what we used to have. But in the midst of all of that, as artists, despite that it's not the best of times, we are making the best out of these times.
This particular theme came out from her experiences. To be able to be patient in life, to hold on to what we have until we acquire, until we achieve from that which we have. This is the person we are using today as a symbol for this particular exhibition.
It's also a double celebration for Nigeria at 60 and an accomplished giant in the contemporary Nigerian art world who has received accolades for her role in the sector's development.
So what I have here is actually about womanhood, the adorable ones, the florals. Women are like florals. They're like the beautiful flowers. You understand? If you don't handle them with care, they wither away so easily. But if you water them and care for them, they flourish and they become adorable. They are the beautiful vase. Easy to break, but if you only keep them very well, they give you the best of excitement which you desire. So I'm talking about the adorable woman, using Mama Nike as an adorable woman. A woman who has beautified Nigeria, Africa, the black world, the black nation. She has given us that beauty we seek, and she has taught us a lot of lessons to be patient in life.
She have actually inspired many of us to hold on to our little hope and strength, because the art is such that is very challenging. The art practice is such that is very challenging, and it's only those who are strong enough to bounce back after all the hurdles and then school and some kind of career challenges and all that.
We have quite a number of us as artists who have gone through lots of challenges. One of them is the recent pandemic. We're not the only one affected with this, but still we're able to stay strong. And using the icon, Madam Nike, as a case study, she's really of tremendous motivation to everybody, that no matter what challenges, whatever you go through, you can always aim higher, you can always be great.
The theme of resilience is not limited to the creative sector. It's also to give those in the front lines a thumbs up for braving the odds in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic and doing their bit to help heal the world.
Since the pandemic came, there's observing social distance, face masking, hand washing, and all of that. We never saw that coming, but it came. But we are resilient in the midst of all of this. As artists, we have kept the practice, and we are also making commentaries of what we have gone through for generations to come to see and learn from what we have seen.
Even though we have all these challenges facing us as a country, we can always stand tall, we can always overcome our challenges, and we'll become better.
The exhibition features 60 prominent artists from in and out of Nigeria, revealing their ingenuity in sculpture, painting, graphics, photography, print, drawing, ceramics, and textile design.
Fancy the exhibition coming up this month. That's why they say there's so much in the name. Online, young creatives have been talking about different hot topics. Take a look.
The works of art this week talk about the state of the polity, especially with the End SARS campaign taking place across the country by different youths. Let's start with this one done by Paul Ogulesi. It's done with acrylic on canvas. He says, "No wise man sleeps when his house is on fire." The title of this work is Wisdom. Then Apprehension is a digital painting by Olufemi Adedeji. This untitled painting is done with acrylic on canvas by Justin Laye. Then Paul says, collectively, our voice will be heard. I'm a creative and not a criminal. It's done with mixed media. The Ancestral has this mixed media work, #End Police Brutality. He says the fear of offense is just a small price to pay for freedom. Then Olufemi Adedeji is asking a question, am I next? With this work, which he does on mixed media. Then this ballpoint on glossy paper work of art is done by B Palette Art. He calls it End Police Brutality, End Poverty, End Hunger. Then towing that same path is this one, done by Uke Intima, is called Patriotic. It's done with pencil on paper as well. Nigeria Rise Again is how Debas Adebayo puts his own work of art, which captures the human rights activist Aisha Yusufu, just like his other colleagues did. And to wrap up the works of art for this week, we have this one called Voice. It is done by Awoshika Oluwabamiche. It's done with collage on canvas. He says, yes, we are shouting at the top of our voice. We are Nigerians and we are Nigerian creatives, and we also deserve a better deal. Those are the works of art you sent in this week. We do encourage you to stay safe and keep them coming.
To add to that, contemporary artist Desinye Tantwa decided to capture his feelings in moving pictures. We'll show you that and take a moment on ArtHouse. Do stay with us.
Fear and creativity don't mix well. We fall, all casualties of the war, because we cannot hear each other speak, because eyes have ceased to see the face from the crowd.
It It's one of the new kids on the block when it comes to being an art center. But trust me when I say the works within there go way back. ArtHouse had an exclusive preview of these interesting finds.
The Talala Art and Culture Afrique Center is the realization of an idea which was conceived about 30 years ago, coming into fruition. With every floor containing a dose of art and culture, from artifacts, antiques, relics, sculptural pieces, as well as paintings, adding to the numbers where enthusiasts can appreciate the beauty of Nigeria's art and culture.
So welcome, Melinda. It's wonderful to see you.
ArtHouse had a rare preview of this space with the founder, the Irelu of Lagos, Abiola Dosunmu, giving us a tour into what's in her collection, since some of the works are still being arranged and restored.
So how far back did this collection go?
Wow, at least 30 to 40 years, even beyond. Short of sounding ancient and Methuselah, I've been collecting. I'm just somebody who, once I see an object of beauty, I want to own it. So I pick up things wherever I go. There's always a reminder of places I've been to. So hence, these collections, I mean, it got to a stage they're driving me out and everyone around me tells me, look, it's enough, stop buying these things. Where are you going to keep them? But I'm glad now that I can actually share it with other people.
Do you have a particular preference when it comes to the art? Are you into the hard or the soft?
Oh, yes, especially some of my paintings. I don't know if you noticed there's a painting of a very old man with, you know, evidence of hard work, of age on his face. I mean, every time I look at it, I just marvel at the human strength and also the grace of God. Because we have seen people who are who are even older than that, but you don't see that mark of stress, of strife, and yet of dignity.
Then the curator, Kenny Ekundayo, lets us into how she intends to handle the placement and preservation of each work of art as the need arises to make the audience connect with this royal collection when it's time for public viewing.
Right now, we have certain works, ornaments, that are also in the gallery, and I'm sort of looking at a melange, how to fit these two distinct style of art, if you will, and how to have them work together and create an aesthetic adventure, if you will. And for the placement of the works, the positionings, I'm not just looking at the gallery. Every layer of this center, every story, every floor is also going to be a display area. So I'm going to ensure that we are able to take up all the space and allow these works to be displayed in each layer of the building. I'm centering the premier exhibition at the center on her collection. It's titled Royal Bearings, and it's a glimpse into what makes up the royal collection.
The main motivation really of opening up this place is not just to enjoy merriment or just viewing the works, my collection, but my collection is just to jumpstart the whole process. The whole process is to find young, up-and-coming, brilliant artists, incubate them here, and give them exposure.
Thank you so much for letting us into your wonderful space you have here.
It's a pleasure too, and I'm so glad for the opportunity. And I want you to remember that every time you're on your program, I'm in front of the TV watching you and rooting for you. So thank you.
I also enjoy the beauty of nature, surrounded by art and culture. Really intriguing experience. On our feedback segment, I asked creatives the role they feel an artist or artists should play in society. Here's the response.
In our feedback segment, Chuka says, yes, artists are the eyes at which society filters itself, be it music or visual. We stop and observe in order to fulfill our primary functions as mirrors. Olumide Faye believes the artists should at all times promote the best part of our cultural heritage through their works of art. Austin Osanapo says, I believe in strategic indulgence. Every artist has his or her own belief system or corresponding value arrangement. For me, whatever role any artist chooses, they must aim to be influencers in matters that affect the society. Nona Breath believes artists or artists should be the voice of the people through imagination and expression. Just like the activists are the voice of the people through action and the politicians are the voice of the people through policies. Tom Akindoju believes artists should be able to make people smile and forget their sorrow, pain, and worries. We should be able to put ourselves in the people's shoes, know what they really need, and how to make life easy for them. Coming up on the next episode of ArtHouse, we look at how time and chance is interpreted at the Thought Pyramid Gallery, Abuja. Then return to the commercial capital to see this collage art exhibition by Sylvester Aguda. Tune in next week for all that and more. Your ArtHouse experience doesn't have to end when the show's not on television. Interact with us on any of our social media platforms. See any edition of ArtHouse on Channels TV's YouTube page. Send your works of art to ArtHouse on Channels Television by joining the group on Facebook. We are everywhere.
Loads to look forward to next week, and we're expecting to see more comments on our question for this week. We appreciate you for sending in your feedback. As creatives, we mirror the society, and we should all do it responsibly. That's ArtHouse today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akinlami.